Hello and welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you are so inclined. In today's video we're taking a look at these, the NeoBuds Pro from Edifier. Now these things are sporting a wireless certification for high-res audio, so that's all very interesting. So let's check them out. Now in terms of the design of the cradle for these, it is very nice. It has this sort of wonderful brushed aluminium across the top, although I'm not entirely sure it's fully metallic. And we do have this red LED across the bottom, so when we open it up it lights up just to let us know that it's open. Now on the inside we do have an L and R moniker to let us know which side is left or right, which is always functional, and we do have the pairing switch here. Now the cradle with the buds combined, according to my scale, I believe comes in at around 58 grams. Indeed, on the nose, and each of the individual buds weighs only 6 grams according to this. Again, yeah, spot on, which is all very good because lightness with buds is key. You don't want something that feels like it's pulling your ears from your head, so to speak. But they are very nice, and I do like the design of the buds themselves. I will put an image on the screen, I'm sure. But it's sort of a nice silvery outlay on the outside, and we do have this sort of big bobble that holds in your ear, and of course the bud itself. This does come with several, or many in fact, different little attachments for the buds themselves, which is all very nice. Now these are IP54 rated, I believe. Now they're not fully water resistant, but they do have active noise cancellation, which does require microphones, and they do in fact have a mic on them for when you're connected to your phone or whatever and speaking with people. So given that it's got holes in, can't really make it waterproof. However, it does have water resistance against sweat and things like that, so you don't need to worry when you're out and about and on the go. But in terms of the design, it's all very nice. The cradle is a bit on the larger side, but not so big that it's going to get in the way of anything. It's still going to fit in the same slot that you put your other buds in your bag, for instance. So all very, very lovely. Now I did try these on both Android phones and on an Apple device, and I can tell you that the Android sounded better. I was expecting the alternative. I thought that Apple would sound a lot better than these do, but honestly from the Android we got something. But I had a look into it, and apparently Apple products aren't necessarily great when it comes to high-res audio. But there you are. You can just connect these to your device all very simply. Just hold down the pairing button like you do with anything else in your Bluetooth menu, select it, done, easy peasy. The connection is just connect and play. You can just use them, you don't require the app. You'll still have the functionality to skip forward a track or to pause, all of that with the tapping. Now if you do download the app, which I'd recommend you do to your phone, it's very, very simple to use, and I'm sure I'll be putting it up on screen at some point to do a test with that. But it's all very basic. There's a lot to it, but it's nice and easy, and there is an EQ on there so you can get these to sound just how you like. But honestly, the way these are set up, I'm not going to go into the technicalities of it. There's sort of a dual driver thing going on. You have a dynamic driver for the more bass and the rumbly aspect, and then an actual driver for the mids and the treble, which does give great separation for the audio. However, it doesn't matter how you got to the sound. Does it sound good? And honestly, they do. For the price, where these things come in at around 100 to 130 US dollars, they sound exceptionally good. I was really, really remarkably surprised. The bass is ever present, it's always there, but it doesn't dominate. It doesn't wash out the mids and the trebles in any capacity. It all just sounds very, very solid and good. But that's not to say that it sounds overly clinical either, because it doesn't. There's a lot of warmth to it. Now, when you're using the noise cancellation, just using the standard noise cancellation doesn't seem to affect the sound as you're listening to it in any capacity. When you go on to the highest level, however, you do get a bit of that underwater sort of feel to it, or at least I did with these. But honestly, using the active noise cancellation just as its standard setting is all very good. When you do choose the ambient setting for this, which is sort of transparent mode, it is very, very clear. There is a bit of static noise in the background, but they would be from the environmental sounds. But honestly, if you're watching TV with these buds in, you can hear the sound straight through nice and easy. So if you do just have these in waiting for a phone call, you don't need to worry, you're not going to be deafened from everyone else. You can also just turn the ANC on without listening to anything. That's outstanding for when you're on public transport. Don't want to listen to music, but also don't want to hear the sounds of other people. But there you are. They sound very, very good. So let's take a look at the app now, and I'll do a quick mic test as well. I'm going to try and record the actual mic itself onto the iPhone, so that'll give a good illustration of what these actually sound like. Obviously, over a call, it may sound different, but it's as close as I can get using this sort of test methodology. But let's move on to that.
So here we are in the Edifier app, and I should point out I'm using the microphone on the earbuds themselves to record this section. I just figured there's a good way to give a mic test. This is just screen recording into my iPhone. Now, as you can see on screen, we're presented with the independent charges of each of the buds, and we get the cradle charge as well. Now, interestingly, you can only see the charge of the cradle when the buds are actually in it. But by the by, beneath that, We've got the noise cancellation settings. You can see we've got the high noise cancellation, which is very, very good. We've got low noise cancellation, which is helpful. We've got ambient sound, which again is rather good. It's quite crisp, but rather good. And then we just have the standard setting. Now, if we swipe across to the right, you get to the EQ. Now we have classic, which is all very nice and warm. We have dynamic, which is basically Edifier's way of shaping the audio best for the sound that's coming out. Personally, I'm not a massive fan. It makes things a little bit too crisp for me. And then you have your customize. Now you'll notice on the screen there's nowhere to actually customize your setting. There's no EQ there. To get to that, you have to go down into the bottom right where it says mine, tap on that, and then just open customize tunings at the top. Please don't take these tunings as anything. I've just been playing around just to have a bit of fun while making the video. But it's nice and easy to get into. Once you've done that and set it back up, when you go back to headphones, which is down in the bottom left, that will be your custom EQ. All very lovely. Now if we swipe again to the right, this is where we get to select whether we're using gaming mode or not. Now gaming mode just reduces the latency to around 80 milliseconds. And I'm not entirely sure, but it felt to me a bit like it did take the audio down a step. So it wasn't quite at that high resolution mark. But it still sounded very good. Now I did try these with my PC and played a bit of Warzone. I wouldn't recommend them for things like that. I wouldn't recommend using anything Bluetooth connected to play a competitive first-person shooter. It just doesn't work very well. But playing scenic games and more slow play games, these were very, very good. It was very nice to not have a headset on, just to have the buds in. And of course, mobile gaming, when I was on traveling around, was all nice and good. I don't normally mobile game. I just did it for the premise of this, but it was nice. It was just, like I said, a lot easier than using a pair of headphones. But there we are.
So what do we get in the box of the NeoBuds Pro? Well, a whole plethora of things, but it's all the things that you would in fact need. We'll start with this, which we probably don't need. There's a whole plethora of wasted trees here. There's just paperwork for days, all very small to fit in the box, which is remarkable. Then let's move on to the important stuff. We do get an additional 6 different sizes for the tips of the buds themselves that range from really rather large all the way to the extremely small, which is very good. That appeals to more people, which, well, I like that. As it stands for me, the actual tips that are on the buds themselves are just my size. I must have the standard size ear holes, perhaps. Anyway, we also get the Type-C charging cable. Now this thing isn't very long, which is good. It's only about a foot long, which is all you'd really need for these, because these do not wireless charge, which is unfortunate, but it is remarkably quick charging using this. I think an hour will pretty much give you full-blown charge, which is all very nice. We also get this, the carry case. All very lovely. Look at it. A very nice little thing. I like this. It impressed me when I first got it out of the bag, and I thought, yeah, I probably won't use it, but I like that I have it. All very nice. But that's what we get in the box. There's no real wastage to any of this. It's all very functional, except for all of the wasted trees there, but yeah, very nice. And the way that this is presented as well is kind of cool. When you get onto the inside and unravel the box, you get this. I love the sort of, I don't know, rifle box material that's on here. It's very soft and probably does very little, but it's very, very nice looking. So well done, Edifier. The packaging was nice. Yes, there's a waste of trees. All the things we get are lovely, and I do like this little pouch for the cradle. So would I recommend buying the NeoBuds Pro from Edifier and this cool little pouch that it comes with? Well, it depends. If you're in the market for some wireless buds, then absolutely yes, depending on your budget. Now these do punch above their weight. I was impressed. I didn't think they'd sound as expensive as they do. They sound like they should be worth around the $200 mark, which is impressive. It really is, because I wasn't anticipating it. Like I said, it does depend on the device that you're listening from. I'm an iPhone user, and disappointingly for me, they didn't sound as good on iPhone as that it did on my friend's Android phone, which is rather annoying, but that is something to take into account. It's probably because iPhone don't really do high resolution audio. No idea why, but there we are. They are a very good set of buds. I did like them. They do have a gaming mode, and I like gaming modes. It reduces the latency down to about 80 milliseconds, which for a competitive game, probably not that great, but for just gaming on your phone, absolutely brilliant. I enjoyed it. It all sounded very, very good. I like that you can change your own EQ within the app. I like all of that. So if you are in the market for buds, then yes, I would absolutely recommend these. I think they're very, very good. They're very comfortable, and they're very, very light. But there we are. I'd like to thank Edifier for sending these out. All very kudos to that. It made no difference at all to the review. That will always just be a standard review as I find it through my own testing. But yeah, well, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Do leave a thumbs up if you did like the video, and why not subscribe if you want to see more content like this. But have a nice evening, morning, noon, wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.